folks in the extended business and tech community there in the Bay Area, and folks who are active on Twitter and social media. That Venn diagram is almost a circle. And what we saw there is something that I think we're all, I hope, going to walk away from a lot more mindful, because you put founders, in situations where within hours they were making really tough calls, knowing that these are not CEOs who are riding around on private jets, right? The vast majority of these founders are still trying to build up companies and solve really big problems, fighting cancer, climate tech. And need to make sure that they can make payroll under this sort of duressful situation where, look, the legacy of SVB was for decades, they found a way to back entrepreneurs when very few other banks would without...
Yeah, because they took risk, dude, because they didn't give a crap. They gave everybody money in a bull run. That's what they did. That was their magic way of finding a way to back entrepreneurs. It makes it sound like it's like brilliant. They found a way. Oh, they magically found a way to give people money. They gave everybody money.
For companies once they've raised, tens of millions of dollars. But, I'm in the business of being the very first check into entrepreneurs' companies. So we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to maybe a few million at most. So for these early stage companies, these nascent companies that we know many of whom will become significant contributors to American economy and innovation, they need a place to bank. And the big four aren't going to be a home for those companies. Those entrepreneurs still need a place to put their money to not really do anything special with, other than make sure they're paying their bills.
Alexis, I've always admired your humble approach to all of this, and I admire your thank you about all this. But I'm so curious, as you see so many others in the venture capital community over the weekend, especially online, screaming from the rooftops, not only asking for a bailout, blaming the Federal Reserve, blaming everybody, perhaps but themselves, and not necessarily taking the approach that you have this morning, and how you think that puts the venture capital community in what may be the crosshairs as people think about things like carried interest and other regulations down the line.
Yeah, look, this is, I think, I hope, I really do hope this will be a chance for all of us to take more stock and more reflection, right? At the end of the day, I take responsibility within my own firm of having that single point of failure. And I think every one of us as leaders need to understand that we have a weight, and it's a platform. I know this is going to sound weird and maybe a little surprising, but I think there are many people in tech and in VC that may not even fully understand and appreciate the impact that they have. And I think for many of us, there were a number of calm voices, a lot of amazing venture.
This is cringe. This is literally a guy on CNBC. Hey, I'm a rich 1%er, I like to be the person who invests first in startups. Call my VC firm and we'll write you a check. We're just so grateful the Fed just bailed us out so we could keep writing those checks. What is this?
Especially Twitter, in this case, can be a place for ideas to spread quicker than ever. We saw folks posting, outright misinformation about some of these banks over the weekend, who also, a few tweets earlier, admitted that they held short positions in those same companies, right? This is, you can see the receipts. This is a new era for us as an economy, for us figuring out this distribution of media. And I think, yes, there's a responsibility borne by every one of us, especially those of us who have platforms of influence. And this was so much of what my team and I debated and talked about in those 36 hours, was the signal that we would send, telling all of our founders, the language that we would use. We tried so hard to be as careful as we could to provide the best information and support we can. Also knowing that what we say has a tremendous impact, and it's not just the 100 companies in our portfolio, it's the 100 other founders that they know and the 1,000 other people or the hundreds of thousands of people following on Twitter that pay attention. And so I hope it gives us all a moment to take that stock and do better. Look, I'm one of the first that needs to do it.
Yeah, you're one of the first. Okay, okay. Oh, this guy's a tool.
Spreading misinformation. As you said, there are receipts, and if the SEC didn't have enough to do already, more thing for them to dig back through. Yeah. Alexis, right now, because of this, the way it's stepped in, all of your firms are okay? They're all going to make payroll?
Yeah. I mean, we're obviously, everyone's still, holding their breath, but I feel like we've breathed a huge sigh of relief. And I'm here at Austin, here at South by, and so no shortage of startup CEOs and founders who were sleeping a lot easier last night as a result. And I do think, look, there's more to come from this.
The 1% is sleeping easier. God, this is cringe.
That kind of just simple banking for early stage companies that need a place to put their cash. But yeah, as it seems right now, everyone's making payroll, and we're CEOs are able to get back to work, and more importantly,
what are you talking about? How are people making payroll? The banks haven't even opened yet. And earlier he's like, oh, the big four isn't a place for the startups. What do you mean it's not? You could totally put your money there.
You're a founder and you put your company's money there from your shareholders. You could get a better deal on your personal loans at the bank if you promise to keep all your money there. Is that the sort of thing that you'd heard of before? And should those policies
That's the point.
be
That's
allowed?
moral hazard.
Oof. Now, I'm not a banking expert, but I think when we start getting really cute, with this sort of thing, this is where these problems emerge. And I do think there's going to be another round of scrutiny around those 2018 rollbacks. But I do think at the end of the day, the biggest need for entrepreneurs and for these emerging companies is a place to put their cash where they know there's nothing terribly cute happening behind the scenes. Everyone is taking all the right precautions. No, they're not. And I do think the market is going to provide some kind of an answer for that, because it needs to. It needs to fill that role SVB had.
We just had socialism from the Fed, you dumbass. The market was trying to do its job.
Thank you. Want to get down to New York Stock Exchange. Jim Cramer joins us now. Jim, this was Dan Loeb last night. He said, "I'd say all's well that ends well, but I think this story is just beginning." Is it just beginning, or did it end?
Well, I think that there's something in between that. We have a number.
Did they just cut him off? Did they just get the guy off air? Did they just cut him off with Jim, or is the guy coming back? Cut him off! They got the guy off with Jim cut in. Jim walked in. Quick, cut to a stupid clip from Jim. Get this Reddit guy off air. Dude, that was so embarrassing. That was the most cringe. Whoa, look at me. I'm a white knight VC guy. So happy people can pay their payroll. I get it. I don't want people not to get paid either. But you were so fake. It was so no wonder CNBC cut him off. Thank God they cut that guy off.
It's just going to get harder and harder to get a loan at an interest rate that makes a lot of sense.
CNBC's scrambling now. They don't even know what to talk about after that. They're like, we had the guy scheduled until 6 a.m. Let's go to Bloomberg.